I gotta do like an alligator clap.
That was great.
It wasn't that good.
Oh, well, you did all of them the last time. It's my first one. Welcome to the Love and Legacy podcast, guys.
Hey, welcome to the Love and Legacy Pod. Mom and Dad are here.
We're here.
Hanging out, having fun, having a good time. Thank you guys so much for joining us and being part of this journey with us, man.
Yes, we came back.
You know, I feel like in order to be official podcasters, we have to remind you to like, comment, share, subscribe.
All
hit
the
bell,
things.
Share it. Did I say share already?
Share it.
Sorry,
I mean,
shouldn't.
just keep sharing
Matter
it.
of fact, share it
That's
2
why.
times. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Share it 2 times. Thank you for hanging out with us.
Yes, thanks for being
You
here.
look good, girl.
You look good.
Come
babe.
on now.
Stop. I'm blushing on camera. Okay, so today,
On today,
what
it is.
we're going to be talking about communication. Why do you want to
Yep.
laugh?
No, because communication
No,
brings
hey,
me joy.
why does he want to laugh?
Communication brings me joy, man.
Communication's funny to you?
No, it brings me joy. It is the number 2 reason why marriages end
It is.
is because of communication. So it is not, first of all, it's not funny. So be serious. But I do think we've had the benefit of learning how to communicate well with one another.
We have learned.
And I think for all of our, I don't know what our audience is called yet.
We're not there yet.
For all the lovers and legacyers out there. Do you like lovers and legacyers?
No, I don't. I don't like that.
Is legacyers a word?
I don't like this. I think maybe a couple episodes down we can figure it out.
All right. You guys on Instagram need to tell us what you want to be called, and we'll figure it out together. But I think for anybody who would be part of this community that we're building around love and legacy, I think we can all look back on some moments, whether you're married, single, in a relationship, whatever, and I think you can go, I didn't communicate that well.
Yeah, I could have done that a little better. I couldn't have had so much attitude.
Yeah, I wish I said that a little bit different. Or even like I've put myself in this a very regretful space a lot where I've gone like, I meant what I said, wouldn't change what I said,
Yeah.
would absolutely 100% almost say it the opposite way of how I said it. The message I was trying to get across, I stand behind. Because one thing about me, I'm a stand on business, but I support and still agree with the message. I just wish the means I went to communicate that were different. And I think for us in our marriage, I say this a lot to people for a couple of different reasons. One, for the shock factor, but then 2, to help bring this to light for people, that it has been, I think, 8 years.
It's been a minute.
Since you and I have had an argument in our marriage. And the Jacksons are really who introduced this idea to us.
Shout out to the Jacksons.
Yeah, shout out to
First shout out of the episode.
Uncle Leon and Pastor Kim. Uncle Leon's been
Mama Kim.
my mentor since I was in, I think, 5th grade, 6th grade. One day we'll talk about mentorship and how important that is, and how as you've got kids, you really want to get your kids in a community where there are other trustworthy adults.
You're surrounded by people that you trust, that they trust.
Will echo your themes, echo whatever you're trying to teach your kids. They'll do it in a different way. So I used to think my dad was so uncool and Uncle Leon was the coolest person in the world. And I did not know until I was an adult how often they would speak to each other.
Yeah.
And how my dad would oftentimes tell him he's struggling in school with this. I'm getting on him about this. And Uncle Leon would bring it up in a way that would be so revelatory to me, and it would just be what my dad was telling me. But the Jacksons really helped us a lot early on in our marriage when it comes to communication. And I remember them telling us that they couldn't remember the last time they had an argument.
And I thought that was wild because... Can I be a little bit honest?
Talk about it, girl.
Can I talk about it?
Talk about it. Come on, tell them yourself.
I liked fighting and arguing.
Man, toxic.
Okay.
We call her TT Toxic over here, yo.
Not la tia tóxica. Not it's me. I was like, what?
And I am a professional talker. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So oftentimes
so
I'm like,
it was a losing fight for me every time.
But if you just keep, you know what I'm saying? But I remember them telling us at their dinner table one Sunday afternoon. We had actually gone over there to stay for a weekend.
Yeah.
Because things had gotten bad.
Things had gotten bad.
And we didn't say anything to them. I believe Mama Kim came and said something to you.
She did. She just knew.
Why don't y'all come over?
She said something to me at church on Sunday, I think it was.
Yeah. And so we spent the weekend with them. And they always, you can't be around people like that and not get wisdom. But the thing we walked away from was like, I guess there's this like mythological Narnia world where we could be married and not argue.
But we could talk about this as adults.
We could just talk.
And not be petty.
And it was interesting because Uncle Leon said something so challenging to me at the time. He was like, we disagree often. Yeah. Because we're two different people. But then he goes, we don't argue. I don't raise my voice at my wife. Yeah. I'm not. Do I get frustrated? Absolutely. Does she get frustrated with me? Absolutely. Y'all are yelling at each other. Yeah. And it was like this, like, I just remember us being like.
For me.
He just said so simply, and I wish the whole world could meet these two people because these are the kind of people.
And maybe one day you will.
Matter of fact, you will, because there's no way we would do an entire podcast
without bringing them on.
Love and Legacy and not bringing them on.
Yeah.
But he said, I'll never forget this. He said, y'all could just talk.
I remember that.
Y'all could just talk. And it's one of those things that is a pillar of our marriage now, where it's like, we could just talk. Yeah. So I know you said you had a story you wanted to share, but I want to share a story first.
Share your story first. It might be better than mine.
Because you're going to talk about something from 4 years ago. I want to talk about something that happened last week.
Oh, Lord.
Now, I think as you're building healthy relationships, here go some words, phrases you want to avoid. You always. Oh, yeah. You never. Always and never are like the two that are really triggering, I think, for just people in general. So I had to choose my words wisely last week, but the car had broken down, so we were sharing one car, which is not a problem. We did that for many years of our marriage. But you had the keys, and I needed the key, and we had just worked out.
I know what this is.
Because obviously your boy's slimming down a little bit.
Period, babe.
It's all hers. Y'all relax. It's all
Period, babe.
And we had just left the gym, and so I was trying to get the key to get the
because we're such gym rats.
Just as people in the workout community, and just as just being in the gym so much, we had to be there. No, but you had the key, and you were still getting ready, and I think you were on a call for work.
I was in a meeting,
and
doing
I texted
my
you
hair.
and was like, "Hey, let me get the key real quick."
If anyone from my job is watching, no, I wasn't. I was at my desk.
Yeah. But I was like, "Let me get the key," and you didn't respond for about 7 minutes. And then I FaceTimed you, and I was like, "Hey, I need the key. Did you see my text? I need the key." And you're like, "Oh no." And when you came out to bring me the key, I was like, "Hey, listen." I didn't say you always. I said
you did do a very good job, babe.
I said, "Hey, this is the third time I can remember in the last week of having to FaceTime you for you to see a text." And you said, "The notification that comes in," I said, "You're in control of the notifications on your phone." So, as a person who, like, I really can go the whole day and not text nobody. And I have learned in our marriage that every once in a while I need to shoot you, how's your day going? But I'm only going to send you 3 texts. Please don't miss the 3 texts I'm going to send. Yeah. You know what I mean? I didn't say all the texts, but it was the third time in the last, I don't even know if it was a full week that I had to FaceTime you and go, "Hey," and I said to you, "You ain't missed the episode of Scandal.
So
you ain't missed the work call.
When
teams come through, you on it. When Hulu on, this girl has seen every episode of Scandal, Law and Order SVU, Abbott Elementary.
I watch stuff while I'm working.
And she be working, and I'm not mad at that.
But I didn't realize until this moment.
Just respond to your boys. That's all I'm saying.
I didn't. So he had mentioned it prior to this, and you did do a very good job of communicating that, babe, because I could tell that you were very, very frustrated.
You know what I'm saying?
But
being in the gym really helps me, like, really, because I'm such a gym rat, so it really helps me.
But I will say I didn't realize until that moment in upgrading my phone, for whatever reason, there was a setting that was, I had somehow, my phone was on Do Not Disturb when I have like Hulu or Netflix on.
Sure.
And I just never thought to check it. So in my mind, I'm like, it's not, I'm not ignoring you on purpose. But I could tell that he was extremely frustrated, and it wasn't the first time he had brought it up. And it is a thing for us. It's like, hey, I shouldn't to ask you more than once. Like, if know.
Yeah.
And so,
and I think because of how much I love you, even when I'm on Do Not Disturb, your text still come through.
Yeah.
But I guess I'm not at that same level
No,
for you,
I
which
didn't
is fine.
put it on Do Not Disturb.
No, I'm just saying, even when on Do Not Disturb, your texts and calls will always come through.
What I was
shut the rest of the
trying
world
to
out.
communicate.
But for you,
what
you're
I was
always
saying
there.
is that in the update, I didn't realize
And
the
I guess
phone
I haven't
had
really
that.
earned that level of access in your life, which is totally fine. And I will do what I need to do to continue to serve you until you can trust me at that level.
Are you done? Do you feel
You
good
know what
about
I mean?
yourself?
No, I want to communicate. We're talking about
We're
communication. I just
communicating.
wanted to communicate.
So what
to you.
I'm communicating is that I didn't realize until that moment that my phone did that.
Wow.
Like it had, I didn't even know it was a setting that when I have this app on,
Sure.
nothing can come through. So it was a learning lesson.
We learned.
I've since then updated the setting.
Look at you.
Have not missed a text of yours, have I?
I haven't texted you since. I've been so hurt by that.
That's not the
situation,
truth. I haven't missed a text since then. So, no, but you did do a really good job of.
The reason I bring that up is not for you to celebrate me, although I appreciate you telling me I did a good job. It's because I don't have a lot of gifts in the world. I don't have a lot of stuff. I don't have a lot of gifts. I can talk.
My rebuttal
No.
to this, go back to episode 1.
I can talk. Talking is what I do.
Yeah.
Talking is how I've provided for our family. It's how
Yeah.
I've put a roof over our heads. That's how I've afforded us the lifestyle. And
Yeah.
you have contributed as well. It's not me diminishing who you are, what you do. But I have used my gift as a preacher, as a communicator, against you so much early on in our marriage. Not only, so speaking in general is just a skill set. Another, what I really do think is a gift from God is how quickly my brain processes information, the amount of synthesis my brain can do in a short amount of time. So then in an argument where it might have taken you
Because I'm a verbal processor.
5 minutes to get to a point, I can debunk that point in about 15 seconds.
Before I'm done.
Before you're finished.
Yeah.
And I have weaponized my gifts from God against you in our marriage so much. And I think more than anything, that's kind of our heart behind communicating well in marriage, is that we would not use our words. One of the stupidest things I've ever heard. Are you about to cry?
Yeah, because that just got so deep so fast.
One of the stupidest things I've ever heard is this phrase, this old adage, that sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. I'm like, whoever said that was never in an argument with a person
And they didn't
love.
read the Bible because that's contrary to what the Bible says.
Because we really do have the power of life and death
Yeah.
in our tongue. And I don't know, talk a little bit about those early arguments. When you see red and we were in those arguments, what was the point of what you were saying once we're in a heated argument?
What was the point of the argument?
No, not the point of the argument. We're in an argument now,
Okay.
and now you're just saying stuff.
Oh, I'm just trying to be louder than you. I'm trying to hurt you more than you're hurting me because now I'm upset. Now
Right.
I see red. Like nothing logical is coming out of that. We're not going to work together to come to it,
Sure.
So yeah, at that point, I'm out for blood.
Sure.
Is that the answer you were looking for?
100%.
Oh, okay.
I just think some people needed to hear that.
Oh, yeah. 1,000%.
And I know this is not limited to marriage.
Yeah.
There's some of you who can't get along with your supervisor at work.
Ooh.
And it's so combative. Every conversation is so combative. And it's because I get to a point that's like, I'm not even trying to, whatever the point of this conversation was, once we transcend from, let me communicate. Once we matriculate from, from conversing, let me deliver everybody in the chat right now. Conversating is not a word. It's conversing. Once we matriculate from conversing into argument, and it goes from conversing to combative.
That's good, babe.
Listen, man, you know what I'm saying? Your boy be talking, you know what I'm saying? Once we matriculate from conversing to combative, I'm just trying to who can hurt who the most.
Yeah.
And then what we end up having to do after we've calmed down a day later, 2 days later, is crawl back over our words.
Yeah.
And try to apologize to one another.
Yeah.
And try to move forward with the thing that we actually were in the conversation about in the beginning. Still hasn't been resolved, by the way.
Yep. We still have to
now
talk
we
about
gotta
it.
clean the blood up.
Yeah.
We still got to talk about the thing. And I think more than anything, that's a position we put each other in a lot in those first 2 years of marriage. And then we adapted this mentality about being right.
Yeah.
share that mentality with our lovers and legacyers.
Well, that's not the name, but man.
You don't know it. You forgot it.
No, I didn't forget it. I'm processing.
And we've shared. Did we get this from the Jacksons? I don't know. I'd be taking credit for this all the time.
I can't
When
remember.
it comes to being right, we always, every couple.
I don't know where it came from, but essentially we had to learn how to get to, how to get away from who is right.
Who's right? Yeah.
And focus on what is right.
What is right?
What is the goal of what we're trying to accomplish right
That's
here?
right.
And at that point, it doesn't matter if I'm right, if you're right. It's what is right. Now, I know it's a lot easier sometimes when you're parents and you have kids because you have that physical representation of like, you know. But so for those of you who might not be in that stage of life yet or who aren't in a current romantic relationship, you still have relationships with family members, friendships. And so it's still something that you need to, it's a little nugget that I use in every relationship. My friendships at work, like, you know.
I'm using it a lot.
I use it. I try my best to use it when I'm working of like, all right, let me not.
Everywhere else in life, I'd be like, I'm right. Let me do what I say. I'm kidding. What is right is more important than who is right.
It's what is right, yeah.
And it takes two really mature people willing to commit to that.
And so, in full transparency,
talk about it, girl.
I was not focused on what is right when he really had to lead our marriage, our family, in the way of us being able to sit here, right, and tell you guys that we haven't argued in so long, because I like to be right. And I am Latina. I like to be loud. Sometimes, you know, what is it about Latinos that are like, I'm louder than you, so by default, I'm right because I'm louder. I don't know what it is. But anyways, it was hard. It was a struggle for me to get there.
There was a couple times you were yelling at the side of my head while I was playing a PlayStation.
Angry. Do you know how mad and infuriating it is to argue with someone who isn't arguing back with you?
We left the Jacksons and I was like, our last argument was our last argument.
Yeah.
So we're not talking about that no more. And you were like, okay. And then some conflict came up and you went right back to
my old ways.
Your old ways. And I put my headphones on.
And he was very kind too, which almost made me more upset that he was like, I love you.
I love you. I'm not ignoring you.
I'm not going to have this conversation with you.
I will not
right
engage
now.
with you like that.
Beep. What do you say and do to that? Because I'm infuriated, but this is a marriage. Like, also, I'm a little bit turned on though because you're leading.
Talk about
but
it.
also, I'm upset. Like, I'm like, I'm mad.
I'm with that.
I'm like, what? So it took me a little bit to get there.
Not a long time. It only happened a couple times.
No, you're being kind. It took me a hot minute.
It only happened a couple times, and then it only happened a couple times where I had to flat out just go no, and then there was it took a couple months of being into like trying to, you know, communicate well that you would kind of revert, and I would go, cool,
well,
we're done right there.
Yeah, one thing
we'll come
I
back
will
to this
say.
another time.
One thing I will say that helped me in that conversation with Mama Kim and Uncle Leon.
Mm-hmm.
My takeaway was that Uncle Leon was like, you know your husband, so you know what he needs. If your husband is trying to honor you by telling you, I can't talk about this right now, you need to give him the space to then come back, which for me was also a very hard concept to kind of grapple with. But that was my takeaway. And I think that's what made me kind of mature to the space of like not taking it personally. If you were like, I need to walk this off or I can't talk about this right now. Because I was like, we're going to talk about this. We're going to do it now. And that is getting an understanding of your spouse.
Absolutely.
And so that is what forced me to get an understanding of your process.
Right.
Of like when he's angry, he isn't trying to avoid.
Sure.
He is trying to be respectful and honor and not hurt me because he's upset right now too. And he doesn't want to weaponize his gift. Yeah.
And I also think there's a part of this too, man, that's like, you know what I'm saying? It isn't just arguments. Because I think next episode, we probably need to talk a little bit more specifically about conflict resolution, right? How to come back after conflict.
Yeah.
But I think some of the conversation around communication isn't just the negative, but it's also the positive.
Yeah.
That I'm trying to think of how I want to say this the right way. Not the right way, but some of this of communication is like, if I want to make love to you at the end of the day, I can't just show up. Like, I don't need a long runway. Mm-hmm. So I think in a lot of ways, I'll share this analogy and we'll wrap this episode. Mm-hmm. Men are like helicopters.
Yeah.
That in order for me to get up in the air, I can be right here and girl, you ready? I'm ready. Let's go. And women are airplanes. You need a little bit of a runway before you can get up in the air. And we can fly equally as high, but it doesn't take a lot. And I think communication, what it has also led to us having fruitful intimacy in our marriage.
Really good, babe. Yeah.
Because I've learned how to make sure I keep it flirty and dirty in our text and conversations, so that we can both. Yeah. Not just so that I can get what I want. Right. But that we can both benefit from the fruitfulness.
Mutually beneficial experience.
Absolutely. Mutually beneficial experience. I'm all about them mutually beneficial experiences. I like to call them MBEs. Okay. You know what I'm saying? I hope more than anything that part of our conversation today that you take home is what is right, not who is right. Yeah. And that's something that you can apply to your life in every relationship, man.
Yep, in every relationship.
That's right.
Thanks for hanging with us.
Thanks for hanging out with us.
We hope you choose love and legacy.
That's right. See y'all next episode.